Story 1. He needs advice on how to proceed since affair discovered. This Friday will be 1 month since he figured it out. They were friends for 15 years and they've been together now for 9, married for 3 as of last week. He's assuming that the affair has been going on since early summer when she changed jobs. He was unhappy for months and had a feeling something wasn't right, which prompted him to figure it out. She's conflict avoidant, which he never realized because they've never had real issues. They've had moments of unhappiness, he's sure, but no serious issues. The person she's with now was a boss, mentor at her previous job, and is nearly twice her age. When confronted originally, she broke down with the "I've been unhappy for a long time," and then days later during another conversation she characterized their marriage as never spending quality time together. They've remodeled multiple houses and still made time for movies, dinner, friends. When talking to his best friend about this, he even said that's BS because it's always tough to schedule things because they were always busy together. This year hasn't been great past the start of the year, but he knows now it's because her time wasn't devoted to them. She has been acting so outside of her normal character that it's bizarre to interact with her. He's brought facts to her and she'll outburst to change the subject or avoid the question altogether. He thinks the affair is a form of escapism. It's all very frustrating. It all kind of feels like a fever dream. He's sure he's different and that the physical affair aspect isn't what really bothers him. It's the betrayal and neglect. Tomorrow, he starts seeing a therapist. They can't do couples counseling because she's still talking to the AP and says she doesn't want to work on the marriage. The original poster also about to set a boundary and things are coming to a halt until she cuts contact and gives him an apology. Luckily, they live in a large house so he can move into the other side of it. He's probably been too nice so far, being that he is compassionate and knows that she has to hurt too. The meat of it. Basically, he has a ton of signs that the internet says to just bail. He just feels like he would regret just giving up. The AP lives in another state but travels often to their town for work. They video call each other all day. She said she doesn't love him anymore, doesn't want to work on it because it'll be too much work, and she doesn't think they can trust each other again. She hasn't apologized. In fact, she deflected tons of blame to him at the start. "Why are you looking at call logs? You're trying to humiliate me." He's willing to wait this thing out. Maybe she comes around, maybe she won't. Who knows? They're both successful and he is a good-looking guy, so he doesn't need her, but he wants her. He is happy to answer any questions. Just looking for anecdotal advice on how you dealt with your situation. Was it similar? You can answer one or all of these if you have thoughts on it. WS, feel free to comment also if you were someone that took a while to turn around. How long did you wait before filing if it didn't work out? Separation or divorce? Did your WS's behaviors completely change after discovery? Did they take a while to apologize? Did they go through periods of stonewalling you and then being chipper the next moment? Tia, reader comment, she's already told you what she currently wants. You should take that at face value. Start preparing for a life without her. Seeing you get ready to move on may snap her out of her affair fog once she realizes she can't have her cake and eat it too. If it doesn't, you'll be grateful that you didn't waste time hoping she'd come back to you. Original poster, he is kind of resigned to the situation. Just cruising ATM since he has nowhere else to be. Weighing his options. Filing for divorce is definitely heading toward the top of the list. Story 2. His long-distance relationship. GF cheated and lied to him and got sawed by 2 of the 3 people she cheated on him and with. This is going to be a long-ish post, so skip to the TLDR if you don't want to read all of it. So exactly what the title suggests, his GF cheated on him throughout their first semester of long-distance relationship. They started hooking up in June of their senior year, and when it came for her to move away to college, she told him she loved him and wanted to do a LDR despite being non-exclusive the whole summer. He agreed, assuming this was her closing the relationship, and they've been dating ever since. She's an amazing person and he has never connected with another person the way he does with her, which is why he decided to do LD with her. However, they came back onto the topic of exclusivity in October, to which he assumed they were exclusive, but she said they weren't. That was a shock, considering everything, but she ultimately told him that she hasn't slept with anyone yet and that she was willing to become exclusive. He told her to be completely honest with him, and that even though he might hold some resentment towards her for that, he would appreciate the honesty and work towards overcoming that, since technically they never revisited their terms of exclusivity when doing long distance. She still said no, that she hadn't slept with anyone, and he believed her. Anyways, he plans to visit. He makes time. She goes to school in Philly while he's in Texas, so it's hard, but he was willing to put in the effort. He visited her in September, flew her out in October, and then she came home for Thanksgiving in November. It was during the November break when he found out what she did, and then he confronted her about it. Immediately she broke down and started crying, telling him how sorry she was for lying and cheating on him. She told him the first 2 were while we were non-exclusive, and that the 3rd one was completely her fault and that she didn't say no. This is where things get messy. She then tells him that the 3rd one raped her, and that after it started, she didn't want it to keep going, but he didn't notice, seem to care. He was apparently well endowed and hurt her to the point where she was bleeding and couldn't walk. This happened around early November and he noticed things were off. He didn't let her go into much detail, more so for her because he didn't want to make her relive that moment. But he didn't know how to feel that his girlfriend was raped. While cheating, he doesn't stop there though, and she then goes back to the second guy for emotional support. For context, he was in her friend's group and were friends while they were hooking up, but she ended things with him after they became officially exclusive. So, she goes to him for support, and she tells him that he used her for plowing despite being the only person she could tell about her situation. She told him she felt used by him, and that he would come listen to her sob, EFF her, and then leave. She was non-enthusiastic about every second of it, but she was scared that her only support would leave if she didn't EFF him. She tells him all of this, absolutely destroyed with what was a mix of guilt, shame, and regret, and he doesn't know how to feel. He was shockingly calm throughout that entire encounter, and he offered her support where she needed it, and he sympathized and was there for her during her retelling me her stories of Saw. She told me that I was her only anchor now and that she couldn't do it without him and begged for him back. Opus broke up with her immediately after finding out, but she kept holding on and crying. He's completely mixed on how to feel. On one hand, she cheated and lied to him, but not only that, had a whole situationship with one of her friends while in a relationship with him that continued after they were exclusive. It's insulting, the lack of respect that she showed him in their entire relationship. On the other hand, he still loves her, despite everything, and he feels the need to be there for her when no one else can. TLDR, long-distance relationship, girlfriend cheated on him with 3 people, one person being a situationship who ended up using her, and another entirely raping her to the point where she bled. He is clueless and lost, doesn't know how to feel. Part of him wants to still be with her, but he knows what she did was unforgivable. Parts of him wants to be there for her through her complex emotions, but another part wants nothing to do with her. Reader comment, dude, she is a piece of SHT. She is not girlfriend material, nor wife or mother material. She will continue this selfishness and drama well into the future. Story 3. Stepping out. Opus caught his wife having an about 4 months ago, again. He loves her more than anything and wants this marriage to work. He knows that he wasn't the best husband, she definitely hasn't been the best wife. However, he has always been faithful to the fullest and truest to their expectations. He knows that he's not getting what is necessary from her to feel secure and that they are going to get through this better than ever before. He's strong, but he is having feelings that makes him uncomfortable. She was okay with stepping out of their marriage. She broke her vows in the contract. She continues to blame him for her infidelities. He can't even approach her to tell her how he's feeling insecure and that she isn't coming anywhere close to doing what is necessary to save their marriage from her end of things without blame shifting and anger. He has been doing all the wrong things, he knows. You don't have to tell him trying to salvage this marriage and giving her all the comfort and love she wants. He's thinking about emotionally stepping out of this marriage. He feels like since his needs aren't being met, he doesn't have a safe place he could confide in and get emotional support from elsewhere. He wants to know how that feels. Part of him wants to do it out of retaliation, but the bigger part of him wants to feel safe and to have that emotional connection that he's missing with her. To him, this feels tremendously wrong on many different levels. He knows that he's not under obligation to remain faithful at this point, but he knows how much it hurts. He does love her and what he really wants is her, but he is so alone and hurt with no one to talk to in safety. He will tell her if he plans on doing this, but he needs to wrap his head around this. He has never felt this way for the 11ers. He has been with her. Reader comment, Opus. You are about to get the 2 wrongs don't make a right chorus. That's not the question or the answer, so leave any guilt right there. I think this is in your head because you are either trying to understand her motives or you are genuinely in need of a safe space for the zillion pieces of your heart. Maybe both. But I can tell you that I've lived the it's your fault I cheated crap, and that's hard. You can't even talk because she's not listening. You aren't an R because she's not even taking responsibility for this. She's shoving you out the emotional door. The question is, what you do once you are on the porch and she's locked the door. And that's why you feel this way. Your brain is trying to help you survive by telling you to break that tie to her, the emotional one that she already shredded from her side. So, get a safe space. I'm not in any way suggesting get an affair partner, but I'd recommend Grey Rock and focus on you. It will give your brain and heart the safety you seek while you process what's been done to you and recognize her emotionally abusive nonsense for what it is. And get someone to talk to. Internet strangers are okay, but live humans with emotional connections to you will help you as well. A good therapist trained in trauma. A support groups. Friends. Original poster, okay. Opus feels he wasn't clear. He wouldn't EFF anyone else. His safe place is supposed to be his wife, but he no longer has that because she goes on the attack if he confronts her with how he feels. And he is feeling truly lost and alone. Reader comment, you are exactly right. Your safe space was supposed to be her, but her actions prevent that now. And she goes on the attack, so she doesn't have to face what she's done. It's much easier to blame you and not see your pain. I wish I hadn't lived this, but I have, and it is hell on earth. I know how alone you feel. It's horrible. Look up Grey Rock and see how to protect yourself while you process this. And please do reach out for that safe space somewhere else. Someone needs to have your back while you withstand her onslaught of emotional abuse. Original poster, Opus knows he needs I see. He's approved but having trouble finding one that he thinks will be a good fit who is available. He has never done it before, and he supposes he feels like if he has to pay for it then it's not truly